Is it 10 minutes?
20.
20?
Yeah, it's 4 minutes for 20 minutes.
Alright, I don't care.
Yeah, we can do this for 20
No, it's giving us 20 minutes of full footage. So we can,
so we have a lot to
yeah, we have a lot of. We don't have to keep restarting it.
Yeah.
Alright, fair enough. That way I don't have to do jump shots.
Yeah, you gotta remember what time we started.
Uh,
20 minutes.
I'm sure this part of the video is going to be real interesting.
Why?
Just us doing this.
Yeah. Let me reset this then.
Not uploaded yet.
It started.
Yeah, I know.
Tough guy. We'll
Go 18.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Alright,
Oh my
1918.
I'm
Alright. I'm going to set that right there.
Okay.
Welcome to part 6 of Free Mind to Sheff. Yeah. Today, Hickson... Oh, oops. Zit Carbon is sick. I think. He's not here.
He is with us today.
But since...
Died.
YOLO.
Maybe.
Maybe.
But since we've been doing this every day, we're just going to do one today. So, yeah. Anybody want to say the topic?
Oh, are we doing the stories?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we're doing childhood stories today.
Stuff from our childhood. Who wants to go first?
John, Mr. Happy.
Alright. Okay. When I was like 3.
That's a good story. What about you?
When I was like 3, I was walking into my sister's room to wake her up like first thing in the morning. Like it was like 6:30, and I went into her room and her dog was sitting on her bed, and I like reached for the dog and he clinged onto my face and almost tore my nose off.
Dear Lord.
Yeah, and I he bit me and I could see his blood.
All right.
It was bad. I was scared. I cried a lot.
Before I tell this story, when you commit a crime, it's not a very heinous crime, but when you commit a crime, there's a hair around. When you commit a crime, if it's like 10 years later, can you get in trouble for it? Depending on the crime.
Okay,
Yes.
it depends on the context of the situation. Did you already go to court for it?
No, but I didn't. It was breaking a window.
Okay, so it's vandalism.
Unintentionally.
Okay, well, I mean, if it's an accident, it doesn't matter.
It wasn't an accident.
If it was,
It's vandalism.
if it was just vandalism, I don't think you're gonna get in trouble for it. I mean, it's whatever.
All right, so I'm gonna say I was sitting here with a friend, and I was on a porch in a house that's in a location, and we're sitting there, and we had a bunch of pebbles in our driveway, and there was a rundown house next to where we were at.
Was it abandoned?
Yeah.
Okay, well then, yeah. I mean, it's not technically vandalism if no one owns it.
Here's where the problem comes in. We're sitting there and we're throwing pebbles at these windows. And for some reason I decided to get smart and I picked up a bigger rock. It was like enough to fill my 11-year-old hand, although I was the size of like Mr. Poopy Butthole at the time. But it filled my hand and I threw it at the upstairs window and it just seamlessly just through the window. And we ran, and I get like 2 years later, we're at the house we were at where we were throwing rocks, and this dude knew the guy that was watching over us children, and he's like, "Hey, Mr. So-and-so, I found a rock upstairs in this house. You know anything about this?" And the other person I was with was teasing me. They're like, I could just easily tell him it was you that threw that rock. I'm like, don't do that! I was like a super sensitive kid and I was on the verge of tears because I thought I'd like go to jail or something. I didn't know much about jail, but I knew being the size I was, I would not make it.
They don't serve vegan in jail. I look at Glenn, it's always funny. From 21 Jump Street. Or 22 Jump Street.
I've never seen it.
Alright, you're horrible. Alright, my story. So, I was playing hide and seek one time with my cousin. That already started off weird. Allegheny County, cousins and such.
And he gave away our location. Now I can get arrested. Good job.
You're welcome. Anyways, and I was playing hide and seek, and I was running away from him, and I looked back to see where he was, not knowing what was in front of me. Turned around, went face first into a tree, busted my nose open, bleeding everywhere, bro. I was crying. I was bawling my eyes out. I was like 9. I was out running. I was so happy. I'm like, yeah.
It was immediate tears.
All right. So this one isn't exactly a childhood story.
It was like a week ago.
It was like yesterday.
It wasn't like a week ago. It was like a couple months ago before I moved. I was trying to enjoy where I lived before. I guess it was in the middle of freaking nowhere. There's bedded houses for miles. There's fields. There's hiking trails. It was the best.
What do you live with, Jeepers Creepers?
Children of the Corn.
Yeah. I mean,
Jason.
but I went to this old house, and I had only gone, like, previously I had only gone in there one time, and it was, like, just the living room, because the living room was, like, caved in.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, all right, I'm never going to go in there again. But I was like, all right, I'm going to go in there again. So I went in there again. The living room being caved in actually wasn't that bad, because there was only, like, one spot. So you could, like, walk around the hall and go to the kitchen. There was, like, a bunch of, like...
What?
We're
recording, man.
We're recording.
Well, all right.
Well, all
Alright,
right.
start over.
You said something about a living room being caved in?
Yeah, the living room floor was caved in. I walked around the hole, went to the kitchen, and there's just like 30 moonshine jugs in the corner of the kitchen. Like, they were empty, but they're just like piled in the kitchen. And I'm like, well, that's weird. And I picked one up and just kind of chucked it at the wall, and it didn't even break. It just bounced off. And I was like, that's thick glass.
Were they there when you moved out?
Yeah, they were there. Like, they're still in that location. Like, they're just there. Like, we didn't move out of that house either. There's an abandoned house that was down the street.
Oh.
Yeah. There's an abandoned house that was down the street. I walked in. There's just, like, stuff in there. I was like,
I thought you meant the house you were moving out of.
No, we moved in a trailer. It was no crap. This was, like, an actual house. Like, it was, like, a house from, like, the 70s. It was just
All right.
no one used. Then I went upstairs. There's, like, nothing upstairs. I punched out a window.
Fair enough.
I took like my shirt off. Like, I was wearing like two shirts. I took off one of them and like wrapped it around my hand, punched out a window.
Look at you guys in vandalism. Like,
Dude, it's fun.
We're dumb kids who lived in the country. We had nothing left to do. What else were we supposed to do besides break stuff?
Right, like,
build stuff.
I mean, yeah.
Bob the Builder, not Bob the Destroyer.
Play Fortnite in real life.
oh god.
Fortnite.
Dude, I would break things more often if they wobbled like that when you hit them.
Yeah.
There was one trailer I lived in not too long ago. The first time I'd ever tried to punch a wall was when I was still scrawny. I was like, probably not poopy butthole. This time I was more built like Napoleon Dynamite. And I was tiny. I went to punch a wall out of anger. And I don't know if the wall was made out of the same material as Mr. Fantastic, or I was just super weak because I punched the wall and it bowed in with my fist and I pulled it out and the wall came like back out. And I was like, all right, this is some real tomfoolery. I know I'm not this weak. Like, it was a trailer and like the stuff on the wall felt like the tile you put on floor.
Oh, it's like linoleum.
Right.
Have you ever burned linoleum?
It smells
That
horrible.
sounds horrible.
Yeah.
And it's illegal to burn because it's toxic.
Yeah, it's
Burn this stuff, it's highly illegal.
It's highly toxic. Like, you can kill it.
Yeah.
Bird. Like, if you just take
The biggest thing you think of as a bird, you
Like,
say
I'm not-
highly toxic?
I mean, like a chicken. Like, if you take like a piece of linoleum tile that's like maybe 2 inches wide and like 3 inches, or like 2 by 3, and you burn that in like inside of a closed box with a chicken,
The chicken's dead.
the chicken will be dead within like 10 minutes.
You can also do that if you just
suffocates you.
hook up a tube to an exhaust and put the chicken in the car.
I mean, yeah, you can do that.
Tube in the window, just
It's
blow the
cheaply
windows up.
broiling a chicken.
It's killing a chicken.
Thanksgiving dinner's gonna be early this year, kids.
Who eats chicken for Thanksgiving?
What?
Talking hypothetically, you do that with the turkey.
Chicken? They ate turkey and ham. All they ate for Thanksgiving dinner.
I know a chicken, and it's...
I know a chicken.
No, listen.
Yeah, his name's Jim. I know him.
It's actually a rooster. His name's Petunia. And
Girl's name, bro.
well, that's why we think he's so mean. Is like my neighbor said that he ordered them, and his girlfriend at the time had named all of them before, and they were supposed to get a bunch of hens and like chickens, but the one ended up being a rooster, and she already had the name set. And I mean, it's a rooster, so it probably wouldn't have like caught on anyway.
Yeah, it just
But,
doesn't.
like-
It's like naming a cat. There's no point. They don't listen.
Right, and like the name was already set. She's like, nope. And now its name is Petunia, and it's got like, you know, the little spurs on the back of its leg.
Yeah.
The guy has like plastic poles from around the yard to keep him away. Because if it gets too close, he said it'll like jump up and hit you like 100 times
Oh,
in those
yeah.
things before it lands.
I had one we used to have chickens, and it like jumped up and clawed me in the neck and like almost killed me.
Oh God.
Yeah, like it went into my neck and like was like that far away from missing my artery.
If I was near a chicken, I'd carry a sword around me. So that thing comes up on me, just
I mean, I also ended up
Take it out of
Little
my
extreme.
I also ended up like
just don a blade. Just
I ended up like hitting that same chicken with a lead pipe anyway. Well, it wasn't like lead, but it was like it was just like a pipe and it came at me. This is when I was older and I was like wiser against the evil that chickens are. And it like came at me and I like baseball batted it with a pipe and it went.
I guess since we're on the subject of abusing chickens, I was king of the chickens at one point. I was with my friend and we were like feeding the animals and everything outside, and I was like harassing the chickens, I guess, because while we're throwing like bread in the pen, I'm not like chucking the bread at them.
You're
I'm
tossing
making
it and like hitting them with it, right?
well, right, and I'm making chicken noises like the whole time. I'm like, and he's like 20 minutes later, he's like, "Yo, open the gate, let him out for a little bit." I was like, "All right, fine." I open it and I'm not paying attention behind me, and I start walking and I turn around. He's like, "Dude." And I look behind me, and there's like 8 chickens just following me. Like, not in like defense or anything, but they're just following me around. And the rooster came to the front of it, and he just starts like...
Yeah, because there's a pecking order. You messed up the pecking order.
Well, I get down like squatting, like kneeling, and I'm making eye contact, I think, with this rooster. And he goes to peck me, and he hits my knuckle. So just out of instinct, I was like, "Bam!" I fucking
chicken in the face.
Yeah, I flipped and hit him, and it was like right in the beak. And I got damage from it, but his head kind of cocked back for a second. He walked away, and the chickens kept following me. My friend watched the whole thing go down.
You know what you just did? You became king of the chickens
That's what I'm saying.
you messed with their pecking order, and then you became top chicken because you technically pecked that chicken back with your fist.
I would not have done that.
You pecked it back with your fist, and he was like, "All right, I get it. You the boss."
It hurt, but it was worth it.
I mean,
is this considered animal abuse?
I don't think so. He hit me first. It was defense.
Self-defense. I mean, my stepdad, he shot some chickens with a BB gun because it almost clawed my eyes out. Also,
defense.
Yeah, I was outside and I was stamping at him because I thought we were dancing. And I was like 8.
Just like, yeah.
And he comes out with a BB gun, just starts doming the chicken with a BB gun.
Oh, all right, headshots.
He comes out. He's like, it was like one of the lever action Daisy guns you get.
Oh
And
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
He's just like boom, boom.
They don't do a lot of damage, but they're enough to get the point across.
Yeah. And he's like, "Don't do that." I was like, "Why?" He's like, "Well, you're gonna make him angry. It's gonna claw your eyes out."
If we're talking about tormenting chickens, one time I was at my friend's house.
Too many stories about this.
And he was I had to help him feed his chickens and stuff. So I was like, all right, I'll buy this. So I started walking out, and the chickens were trying to surround me, right in front of me, because I had the feed in front of me. So I started chasing down the chickens. So get away from me! And I started running at them, and they're all running away. And I took out some and started chucking it at the chicken's heads, bro. Just whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Oh, that was the funniest thing ever.
I actually used to have bunnies. We let them out. And they'd always crap behind the freaking couch.
Oh,
So the one day I got super mad. I put the bunnies back in their cage, and then I was like, now I gotta clean up all this poo. Super angry about it. I literally went, I moved the couch out and just flipped it over. And when I did that, I didn't realize my little brother was sitting on the couch.
Oh my God.
And he's like 6. And so I flipped the couch, and he's just like, "I'm under here." And I was like, "Just wait a minute, I'm busy." So it was a rug.
Mm-hmm.
So the bunny poop on a rug, it's like wet Cocoa Puffs just stuck to the rug.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to take toilet paper and pry them off. And it's annoying. So I hated doing it. So I got rid of them. But the moral of the story, I flipped the couch over on my brother.
There was one time I used to live in a trailer park, and I had a fairly decent sized room for a trailer. Well, the bed I had drawers that would go under it, but it was actually part of a bunk bed, and so there was a section in the back that was usually left open because of the bottom bunk. Well, what had happened was the cats kept coming in when I wasn't home and pooping in that little section. And this was mostly an elderly park, and there was this one lady that would walk around, and she always wore red and white striped shirts, so we called her Waldo. And the one time my cousin's at my house, I got the door open because I'm rearranging, and it just smells like straight cat nugget. So I'm cleaning, and I bring up the fact, I'm like, there's so many nuggets under this bed. And Waldo comes out of nowhere. She pops her head in the window. She's like, and just walks away. Just left us with that. We're standing there trying to figure out how to handle this. And like a week later, we drive by her, and she's like fist fighting 2 cops because they're trying to bring her back to the trailer park. She's like screaming, she's like, I'm not going back.
She's insane.
Oh God, it was great.
Oh God.
So, I had a friend. Like, he was my childhood best friend when I lived in a trailer park when we first moved there. His name was Austin. He was great. He had like, like the weird balls that you bounce on.
Yeah, they got the handles.
Yeah. So I had one of those, and he had one of those, and we were bouncing down the hill, and he was beating me, and I was really bad. I was really competitive, and I got up behind him, and I kicked the ball from underneath him. And when I did that, I didn't kick it from underneath him. He had a hold of it, and it bounced forward, and he went back like 5 whole feet, and just like landed with his legs in the air, and he's like, ah!
All right, a story about hills. All right, I was at like a campground, right, and my friend had this go-kart, but wasn't like shielded and stuff, but just a frame. So like it couldn't be driven because like the motor and stuff was taken out. So we decided to put it at the top of the hill, and I'm like, you know what? I'll take first try. So I got in it, and I had my cousin push me down the hill, and he pushed me as hard as he could and let me go. I'm like, all right, smooth sailing, rock. I hit the rock, flipped the car onto my head, and rolled with it like 10 times all the way down the hill. I'm like laying there, I'm like, as it's on top of me, dude. I was bawling.
That explains
I was like
a lot.
14.
I had like pedal carts also. It was funny.
What's that say?
220 feet.
It's actually 3 seconds off.
Two feet.
So I also had like this like pedal cart. Like it was like the go-karts with pedals on them instead of like you're just pedaling.
And Flintstones.
Yeah, pretty much. I had one of those, and then my little sister had like little tight cars that like had the weird wheels, and you had to push them around. Well, I decided to take a jump rope and hook that to the steering wheel of that, and then to the seat of my go-kart because there was like a little gap in the seat. So I did that, and here I am not knowing anything about physics and how they work. And turns out if you go around a turn with a car, like another car that's like 10 feet back, that car flips over a lot of times. So my like 3-year-old sister's in that, and like 10-year-old me is in the go-kart. I just whip around the turn, and I look behind me, and she's flipped over upside down next to a tree. And she's just screaming, "Let me out of here!" And I'm just like, nah. And I just get out and go in the house. She's like, "Where's your sister?" I was like, "She's outside in a car, you know." My mom looks out the window. She's like, "What did you do?" She started freaking out on me. I got grounded, but it was funny because it was totally worth it.
Right.
Because just like seeing my little sister like screaming her head off because she's upside down next to a tree.
There was one time I was playing hide and seek in my old trailer, and like I've never gone so ham into being ready for this. I had black pants, black socks, a black shirt, and then I had like a black hood thing I made out of a t-shirt on my head, and it covered all but my right eye because it's my dominant eye, and so you couldn't really see me. And I ended up and one of my friends was laying in between the coffee table and the couch, and he was very white at the time, and I thought he was one of the couch cushions. So, like your standard child cleaning a living room, I went to punt the pillow up onto the couch, and I wind back and just boom, and my foot hits hard contact, and all I hear is, "Oh man!" And he gets up and he's covering his eye, and I'm like, "I did not mean that." And he had to sit the next game out, and he's sitting there. He's like, "Dude, I am not a pillow." He's like covering his eye. He didn't even get a black eye from it.
All right, you want to hear your stories. So if you have any stories to put, just drop it in the comments below.
Yeah.
That's all I want to hear.
Tell us some funny stories that happened in your childhood.
Hold on, I'm going to stop this and start a new one because we have 15 seconds left. We need to still do the outro, which takes like
30. Redneck. Please tell me it didn't start.
Oh, it did start.
They heard everything.
Yeah, probably. All right.
Rip, let it in.
So, like Chronic said, if you enjoyed these stories, leave them down in the comments below. Leave your own stories in the comments below. We'll read them, and if we think they're funny enough, we will give you a shout out next video. And if we don't give you a shout out, don't get upset. We just didn't find it funny, but you're probably a funny person.
Or we didn't see it.
Or yeah, I should have said that instead.
You're a funny person.
But
we just don't think your stupid story's funny.
Gosh.
Gosh. I really hope these stories of abusing little siblings and animals was enjoyable. I didn't think
Borderline
about
abusive.
I didn't think it was going to be that bad. I don't think it's going to be like regular old story.
Right.
Turn into like hunting chickens or baseball batting.
We didn't swear, and like nobody got hurt
Just a chicken.
Except the chickens. And
during the filming.
I mean, yeah. Like my little brother didn't get hurt. He just was concerned because I flipped a couch over on him.
I got hurt.
What did I do to deserve this?
Yeah, pretty much. That was him.
All right, so make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell icon to turn on notifications. And check out Silly Asylum. I have to verify it before I can upload because my videos are fairly long.
I have figured out the problem with my recording, so I'll be posting up by Wednesday.
I don't have a YouTube channel. I'm just here.
And that's Hat Man. But yeah, make sure to check out Silly Asylum and Chronic Gameplays.
Oh, wait a minute. All right, kids. When life gives you lemons, just throw them away because they're useless, you know?
The lemons. That or makes you fish fry.
But again, I like lemons, so.
Yeah. I like lemons too. I like lemons.